But Johnny, let's end the show looking at a little. We'll stay DC. We'll just keep this the DC podcast. DC. And the thing I want to ask you is, this has nothing to do with like, oh, this came out in XYZ, but basically, Tom Cruise has been rumored to the Green Lantern role for now a little over a year. There is also an article I saw that how Mark Wahlberg and Green Lantern could fit together. So I just want to ask you this simple question. And the Mark Wahlberg thing is apparently that he allegedly wanted to play Green Lantern years ago. Here's the question I want to ask you. Who should play Green Lantern? Because with the movie, it was apparently script done, buddy cop movie. Jeff Johns comes in to the role. Now it's hit the drawing board again. Who, in your mind, do you have somebody that's for sure, yes, they should be Green Lantern, or should they do the whole, and this could be seen as a cop-out answer, but I'll ask you in general, should they go for someone lesser known and be like, hey, we're going to give him a shot at Green Lantern?
That'd be cool if they did a lesser known for one. Well, let's put it this way, because this is when they say those two main names, Tom Cruise and what was the other one?
Mark Wahlberg. Marky Mark.
Obviously, they're talking about Hal Jordan. We haven't seen Jon Stewart yet.
No.
And I got an idea for someone who I think would be cool to play, because they give the demeanor off in their other comic book role.
Okay.
You still don't know who I'm talking about, do you?
No, I don't.
I feel like they give off the demeanor, and at least to an extent, and I feel like they could pull it off really well. Also, they want to play a more pivotal or a bigger role in a comic book series. Idris Elba. As Jon Stewart.
The interesting thing about him, and I did not bring this as a topic because I know I've done it before, and you said you're not huge into it. It depends on, is he going to be the next Bond? Because there's rumors that he could be the next James Bond that we get.
Okay, that's fine.
It would be the first African-American James Bond.
That's fine. I mean, if he wants to do Bond as well, it doesn't mean you can't do both movies.
Well, it depends on
when they're filming.
Yeah, that and contractual.
Exactly.
As well.
But still, I mean, I think Idris Elba would be a great pick for it.
That would be, because
for a Jon Stewart.
Because the whole point of the movie, and it could now change now that Jeff Johns is overseeing it a little bit, is it was supposed to be
he should be overseeing it.
Yeah, well, he should, because he's wrote some of the best Green Lantern stories that I've ever read.
Exactly.
So if there's anyone that knows the character inside and out, it would be
him,
Jeff Johns. But like, I'm scrolling through right now of an article where they're like, hey, who could possibly play, or who would be the best Hal Jordan? Because you're right. It was supposed to be a buddy cop between, I think it was supposed to be an older Hal Jordan, younger Jon Stewart, where both of them were basically passing the mantle on to Jon Stewart. There's a few names on here, like the ones that they give for 1, 2, and 3. I'm kind of like, whatever. Like number 5 on their list. I'm like, really? Matt Damon? I don't want to see Matt Damon as the Green Lantern. Like, I don't think he needs to be the Green Lantern. But like, there are some names on here like John Krasinski. I don't really know if I would want him as Green Lantern. Maybe that's because I want him more as Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic.
No, true.
Jake Gyllenhaal's on this list. I don't know if I want Gyllenhaal to be my Hal Jordan. But the names that I'm looking at, like guys like Armie Hammer, who roles that he's been in that you may know. The big one that he's known for is Social Network, Call Me By Your Name. He was also in The Man Named Uncle, but he's been a big one in like The Lone Ranger. He was in Entourage as himself. He's been in things like The Simpsons, and like I said, The Social Network's probably the biggest thing that he's been in. But I could see him just looking at him, hey, he could be a good Green Lantern. The other one is a guy like Luke Evans, who he was in Furious 6 as the villain. He was also, I believe he was Dracula in Universal's Dracula Untold. I look at him and I go, maybe if we're going more towards a older sense of Hal Jordan. He was also Gaston in Beauty and the Beast. That's probably the last thing that we've seen him in.
What would you think about Michael Fassbender? Played Magneto. Yeah.
I wouldn't hate it. But I mean, that would be one getting, like, whenever I see him, it's getting Magneto out of my head.
Yeah, that'd be true.
That's the big, like,
it'd be hard to think of.
He wouldn't be a bad one. And the sense that he's a really good actor, which would be good. I'm going to throw this one at you, and this is them throwing a big name out there as well. What about Bradley Cooper? Could Bradley Cooper fit as Hal Jordan?
I think he might be able to, just because he does have that joking sense to him.
Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, the thing with Hal Jordan,
because that's it, Hal. He's sort of a jokester.
Exactly.
But not to the degree that the Flash is, but he's not, like, serious all the time.
He's very, like... He could be serious, but then not serious.
Serious when he needs to be. Still throws the quips out there, but joking around when it's time to.
That's why, for me, the voice that I always... Maybe it's because it's from my childhood, too, but that's why, for me, the voice that was always perfect for Green Lantern in our childhood and stuff was Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
Like, he was just... Because his embodiment can be silly, can be serious. Kind of a thing. Like, I think back to the TV series Castle that he was in.
Yeah.
Can be serious, but has that joking side. Has that kind of smart ass.
Think he could play it?
Who, Nathan Fillion?
Yeah.
I think he could. I think he could do a real life
Hal Jordan.
I mean, the last Hal Jordan we got was Ryan Reynolds, which Ryan Reynolds looked the part. It was just a shitty movie.
There was the directing and writing that was the problem.
And I remember at the time, like, when they said, like, now we make fun of it for being CGI suit. But I remember at the time, like, before the movie came out, like, thinking, oh, man, that's going to be a cool concept. Like, of course the suit should be CGI because it manifests from his brain.
Energy.
He's not, like, it's not like he's actually wearing fabrics of clothing. But then we saw it, and it was like, this doesn't really look too good. I know you, as the Marvel fan, was actually throwing up. Me, I was trying to just not bash on the movie because it was DC.
First DC movie.
Was it really the first?
Well, sort of. I mean, since the 90s Batman.
DCEU.
Since the 90s Batmans, yeah, that was like the first DC movie I can think of.
That really came out before the Christopher Nolan stuff?
I think so.
Wow.
Take a look while you continue what you were thinking.
And that, to me, is the main part of, like, what kind of a Hal Jordan are you going with? Is he still going to be that guy that gives you the, like you said, not Flash quips, but the sarcastic asshole quips? Or is he going to be a Hal Jordan that's kind of like, I've seen so much shit, I just want to be done with this. I want to hand this off to the next guy. I am done being the Green Lantern.
No, I was wrong. It came out, Batman Begins came out first.
That's what I thought.
2005.
That's what I thought. I thought that Batman Begins came out first. And wait,
so my bad.
Green Lantern was 2010. Oh, I was going to say 2010. The reason why I knew it had to be past 2008, 2009 is because I was in college. Because I remember,
very true. I forgot.
My boss, when I was in college at the radio station, huge DC guy, huge comic book guy. I remember talking to him about it before it came out. But, like, that to me is a big part of what Hal Jordan are you going to go with? Which Hal Jordan will you go with? I'll be completely honest. Of the two I mentioned at the beginning, I want Tom Cruise nowhere near this project.
No.
Like, DC, if you, like, I would rather you bring on a nobody that I know nothing about
than Tom Cruise.
Mark Wahlberg, too, is like one where it's like, Tom Cruise, I have almost everything against, especially because he ruined The Mummy. Like, I hated The Mummy. It was our lowest movie review that we've ever given. But, I mean, when I heard from Dave that apparently Tom Cruise's character was supposed to be, like, in a fraction of the movie, and then he came in and said, nope, we're going to make him a lead character because he was a producer on the film and completely changed what The Mummy was supposed to be. Kind of makes me hate Tom Cruise a little bit. And that would be, I mean, it doesn't matter how good Mission Impossible Fallout was. I want him nowhere near the project. Mark Wahlberg, I wouldn't be mad if he's on the project, but I wouldn't choose him to be Hal Jordan either.
No, I wouldn't. I think it's funny when you said that about Tom Cruise because it made me think of a meme that I read recently. It's not this. I'm rearranging it to fit this scenario. Tom Cruise loves Tom Cruise like Kanye loves Kanye.
Exactly. Tom Cruise. I love Katie Holmes. I love Katie Holmes. Got to get up on the chair and dance around on the chair. I love Katie Holmes. Here's another one that I'm going to throw this out for. We talked about Batman, but we also talked about Green Lantern now. And this is a guy who has been in the running for people are like, oh my God, he should play a young Batman, but also could possibly play let me pull up oh man, they don't have him right away. There we go. That's the second name I was looking up. The first one is Ansel Elgort, or Elgort. Do you know that name off the top of your head?
No, I do not.
What if I mentioned the movie Baby Driver? Do you now have something popped in your head? The really young guy from Baby Driver, who is basically Baby in Baby Driver. People have said they want him to play a younger Batman. I could see him as Green Lantern.
If you're doing a young one.
Only if we're doing a young Green Lantern. Another guy that I could throw in there, and yet again, this is not the oldest of Green Lanterns, but it's necessarily what Green Lantern are you going for? Are you just going for a Hal Jordan in general, and he's not aging out and he's not really old? What about a guy like Taron Egerton from Kingsman? He was Eggsy from Kingsman.
Interesting.
What would he be like?
I still would think that if it's Eggsy, it'd still be kind of on the younger side.
Exactly. Like those are two guys that would be on the younger side. If you're doing just a
younger Hal Jordan,
this is a Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart buddy cop, and Hal Jordan doesn't need to be super fucking old. Then you can maybe go with those two. Otherwise, you've got to go with like a Bradley Cooper type of actor.
Yeah.
Because he's got to be older than Jonathan Stewart in some way. Or Jon Stewart. I said Jonathan.
I don't know
Whenever
why.
I say Jonathan Stewart, I think of Daily Show Jonathan Stewart. When I say Jon Stewart, then I think of the Green Lantern.
Yeah.
But I'll throw this out, kind of curveball at you. You mentioned Elba as Jon Stewart. Is there anyone else you think that they could probably get to play?
I didn't
Jon
put
Stewart?
more thought into it, so I'm not totally sure.
Johnny's like, way to hit me with that freaking curveball, asshole.
Because I wasn't really thinking, because I'm like, because we were actually talking.
It just popped in my head.
We were talking about it at work, and I'm like, I think Idris Elba would be really cool to play, only because like there's a few things going on as well as like, hey, he's talking about I wanted a bigger role in this stuff. I would like to have a bigger role in this stuff. I would want to. His contract's probably almost up because he just died in Infinity Wars.
Exactly.
Spoilers if that's somehow a spoiler. DVD came out. It's not my problem anymore.
I'm also looking now through an article of people who could play Jon Stewart. And right now I'm not seeing anybody.
What about Michael B. Jordan?
Oh, man. That would be badass.
Michael B. Jordan is the young Jon Stewart.
A Bradley Cooper, Michael B. Jordan, Green Lantern movie?
Buddy cop movie?
Maybe that one. Who would... Okay, if Michael B. Jordan was Jon Stewart, out of all the names we listed today, who would be his Hal Jordan? Who would be the Hal Jordan?
I like the Bradley Cooper one. I would also go... I would do the older Jon Stewart then, and maybe go with Nathan Fillion even. And just, there we go. Full circle. We got the full voice and everything.
I'm trying to... All right. I've got a few others that could be Hal Jordan. I'm almost at the end of my list here, kind of going through who they have. One more. Okay. I got one out of this list that I was like, yeah, I could possibly see him. I'm going to get this name completely wrong, so I am not going to say it. I am basically going to say, remember Cottonmouth from Luke Cage?
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah, I could, maybe.
Cottonmouth from, like, he would be one where if it's like you're going with, you're not necessarily want a huge age gap.
Yeah.
And I could see Bradley Cooper and him being a good...
I would almost say then do Bradley Cooper and Idris Elba at that point.
Well, either one. Like,
to me,
at that point, it's a more serious Jon Stewart.
Well, either way,
Jon Stewart's more serious. Hal Jordan is more sarcastic asshole.
I think it's how the dynamic's supposed to be anyways, so...
Any final thoughts on this before we move on? My final thought is just get Tom Cruise away from this project as far away as possible.
I can agree with both of that.
I would say nothing against Tom Cruise, but it's everything against Tom Cruise.
Well, I mean, as what he did to The Mummy, at this point.
Yeah, I really don't like. I love my DC, and there are a few people that I would be like, no, don't get this job. Please don't hire them. It wouldn't be a James Gunn situation. I would say I wouldn't go see the movie, but let's be fucking honest, I'd go see the movie.
Oh, of course.
But this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think down below in that comment section. Who do you want to play Green Lantern? Either Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart. I know we were at the beginning, I was thinking Hal Jordan all the way. Johnny throwing out the Jon Stewart, where we got to give, if it's going to be a buddy cop, you got to have both of them in it.
Obviously.
So you got to give some respect to the Jon Stewart. Let us know who you guys want down below in that comment section. Also, thank you guys for checking out the Rick and Johnny podcast this week. A little shorter of a show. We're down one segment only because we're doing this on top of everything the week before, Johnny being at Wizard World. So if you saw him at Wizard World, say hi. This is way past. This is like the 2 days after you're home, Tuesday. So you're going to be way long gone from Wizard World. You can go and see him, though, at Wizard World if you want to go down there and be like, hey, is Johnny still here? He might be still in his cosplay, kind of in the rafters, just waiting out for next year.
Just sitting in the middle of the convention center.
Johnny's camping out for next year, man. He's got
already ready.
This guy's little his little campfire set up. But thank you guys for checking out the podcast. Make sure to hit up patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast to help support the channel. Make sure to check out our store in the description or mostvaluablepodcast.com where you can get our t-shirt. Also, mostvaluablepodcast.com is where you can catch MVP each and every day. And last but not least, please give the Rick and Johnny podcast a 5-star rating on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. Want to thank you guys for watching on YouTube. Want to thank you guys for listening on podcast services around the world. And as always, have a good day, everybody.